She does not know it yet. But this is the last night her life looks normal. Everyone at this party has been lying to this woman. Her husband, her friends, her co-workers, they have all been hiding her husband's terrible secret. And now, she knows everything. The second phone, the mistress standing 20 feet away, the best friend who has been reporting her suspicions back to him for months. She found all of it an hour ago in the trunk of his car, and she is standing here at his birthday party, champagne in hand, smiling at his guests, because the most powerful thing she can do right now is let him believe she found nothing. Ji Sun-woo is a woman performing the role of a wife who has no idea her life is on fire, and she is doing it perfectly. The morning that changes everything looks completely ordinary. Sun-woo seems to have it all: a loving husband, money, and an adorable son. Tae-oh is the kind of husband you would be proud of. Handsome, warm, a filmmaker with ambition and easy charm, he runs a production company. He loves his son, and every morning before his wife, Ji Sun-woo, heads to work, he wraps his scarf around her neck and sends her off with a kiss. Sun-woo is a doctor. She has poured herself into this marriage, into this family, into building a life that looks as good as it feels. And it does feel good. The house is warm. Their son Jun-young is loved. The mornings are sweet. On her way to work, she finds something strange. One reddish strand of hair caught in the fabric of the scarf, which is definitely not hers. She holds it up to the light for a moment that lasts too long. Then she throws it away. Sun-woo goes to work. She tries to focus, but she cannot stop looking at reddish hair. A patient visits her clinic that morning, a woman named Hyo-jung, warm and cultured with reddish hair. Sun-woo stares. She catches herself and tries to be professional. She cannot. Later, she waits outside Jun-young's school, and it is like a fever dream. Everywhere she looks, her brain is not letting this go. Her body knows something before the rest of her does. And then she runs into Mi-yeon. Mi-yeon was Tae-oh's assistant director years ago. Divorced now, raising her daughter alone. She mentions, casually, that she has been working as Tae-oh's assistant again. She has been for over a year. Sun-woo realizes her husband Tae-oh never mentioned it. Not once. Mi-yeon also mentions, cheerfully, how lucky Sun-woo must be to have a husband who always clocks off at 5. Always home early. Such a devoted man. But here's the thing. Tae-oh never gets home before 7. Sun-woo holds it like a weight in her chest and says nothing. Because what is there to say to a woman who has just accidentally confirmed what you were hoping was only paranoia? That night, the clock reads 7:30. No husband. When he finally arrives and Sun-woo raises the subject of Mi-yeon, he becomes evasive. The practiced way of someone who has been lying for a long time. He redirects. He answers without answering. She pieces together that Mi-yeon traveled with him on his recent business trip. He never mentioned this either. She goes next door. Her neighbor Yerim is one of her closest friends. The two couples socialize, share dinners, know each other's lives intimately. Sun-woo asks, as casually as she can manage, whether anything has been going on with Tae-oh. Yerim denies it immediately. Too fast. Yerim knows something. The conversation ends before it can go further. Yerim's husband Jae-hyuk arrives loud and performative. He spends the entire visit praising Sun-woo and putting down his own wife. The next day she confides in Myung-suk, her closest friend and colleague. She says she looked through Tae-oh's phone and found nothing, but the phone was not password protected. It always is. It felt like a deliberate invitation, the kind you leave out when you are confident the real things are hidden well enough elsewhere. Myung-suk tells her she is overthinking. Overworked. She needs rest. What Myung-suk does not say is that she has been passing Sun-woo's fears and suspicions to her husband. Every time Sun-woo got close to the truth, Tae-oh knew she was coming. The only person Sun-woo went to when she was frightened was feeding that fear directly to the man causing it. The person she trusts most is the one making sure she never gets close enough to the truth. Sun-woo follows Tae-oh one evening, watches him emerge from a pub with flowers and a birthday cake. She is ready to follow, when a fight breaks out nearby. A man slams a woman against the hood of Sun-woo's car. Their eyes meet through the glass. Sun-woo recognizes her. A patient. Min Hyun-seo. Young and frightened. bruised in ways both visible and not. She has a choice: help this woman or follow her husband. She chooses to follow her husband. Teo leads her to a nursing home. Through a window, she watches him sit beside his mother's bed, flowers on the nightstand. Sunwoo retreats, ashamed of herself. He finds her in the hallway and thanks her for coming. He says he has been visiting almost every day and did not want to worry her. She almost cries with relief. Then the nurse mentions warmly that it is nice Teo finally came by. It has been months since his last visit. He was not visiting his mother. The realization hits her cold, and suddenly the pieces don't just fit. They scream. The reddish strand of hair, the missing hours, the unmentioned assistant. They all point toward the same thing: when the person who has hurt you is still in your home, still in your bed, still kissing you goodbye in the morning and asking what you want for dinner. The grief cannot settle. Sunwoo continues to function. She attends an art exhibition with Teo, uses her own social connections to open doors for him. She introduces him to Chairman Yo Byung-gyu, a wealthy man whose investment could save Teo's production company, which has been quietly nearing bankruptcy through his own mismanagement. She does this out of love, or what used to be love. She invites the chairman and his family to Teo's upcoming birthday party. He benefits from his wife, even as he betrays her. Sunwoo also makes a quiet arrangement with Hyunseo, the young woman from the street that she did not stop to help. Hyunseo is still trapped in a dangerous relationship with a man who vents his anger onto her body, and Sunwoo offers her a prescription in exchange for one small thing: to watch her husband, Teo, and tell her what she sees. Hyunseo follows him and spots him with another woman. She cannot photograph them together, but she gets a license plate number. And then at Teo's birthday party, with guests moving through the rooms and laughter filling the house, Hyunseo slips Sunwoo one more piece of information. Check the trunk. Sunwoo makes an excuse. She takes the keys, opens the trunk. Nothing at first, just an ordinary car. She is about to close it when something makes her pause. She reaches down and lifts the liner. Underneath is a backpack. Inside she finds spare clothes, deodorant, condoms, the kind of kit a person assembles when they are regularly spending nights somewhere they are not supposed to be. And then she finds a second phone. The screen lights up. The wallpaper is a young woman she recognizes immediately. Da-kyung. Yo Da-kyung, the daughter of the very man Sunwoo just used her own connections to introduce to her husband. Then she sees hundreds of photographs. Teo and Da-kyung on holiday, laughing, intimate, the way you photograph someone when you are fully in love. And then a group picture. Teo and Da-kyung together, with their friends smiling on either side. Jae-hyuk, Ye-rim, Mi-yeon, everyone knew. She was the only fool. Ye-rim, who denied it too quickly. Jae-hyuk, who spent evenings praising Sunwoo while carrying this in his back pocket. Mi-yeon, who chattered about what a devoted husband Teo was. They all knew. They sat across from Sunwoo at dinner tables. They hugged her. They asked how she was doing, and the information from Myung-suk is there too. Sunwoo's suspicions passed along. Her movements reported. Sunwoo stands beside her husband's car. She can see him moving between his guests. She has a pair of scissors in her hand. She does not remember picking them up, but there they are. And there he is. And for a moment, she lets herself think about it. Really think about it. She stands there with the scissors, and then she puts them down. She puts everything back exactly as she found it. She walks back into the party. She smiles. She takes a glass of champagne and engages with Da-kyung across the room with a warmth that must have felt to Da-kyung like being held by something beautiful, with very sharp teeth underneath. Teo watches from across the room and cannot read his wife's face. This is the most frightening thing that happens to him all evening. He gives his toast. He thanks his friends. He tells the room that meeting Sunwoo was the best thing that ever happened to him. He says he loves her more than words can hold. The room waits for her response. Sunwoo walks across slowly, in the particular way of someone who has made a very clear decision. She takes his face. She kisses him in front of everyone. And quietly, for only him to hear, she tells him to enjoy his day while he still can. The party continues. The noise is constant. But in the corner, the trap is set. Tayo and Dakyung stand together. They think they are hidden. They think no one is watching. But Sunwoo can see them. Tayo and Dakyung covertly hold hands for a minute. Dakyung gives Tayo an ultimatum. Leave Sunwoo tomorrow. After the guests have gone and the house is empty, Sunwoo is alone. She drinks. She cries. She tears photographs off the wall. She opens a suitcase and fills it with his things because there is a version of this night where she is done, where she throws him out and lets it all detonate tonight. She is ready to do it. And then, Tayo comes home drunk. She closes the suitcase. She puts it away. She puts the photographs back. She makes the bed. She gets into it and waits for morning. Sunwoo finds herself at Yunseo's bar and grows concerned when she hears Yunseo has not been to work recently. She is right to be concerned. Hyunseo's boyfriend In-kyu is on the rampage again. Hyunseo's attempt to flee has failed. He throws her into their apartment. Sunwoo knows the location. She goes there. The door nearly swings shut, but a hand stops it short. It's Sunwoo. She takes in the scene and tells Hyunseo to get up, grab any essentials, and come with her. When In-kyu tries to stop Hyunseo again, Sunwoo uses the steel door as a weapon, slamming it on his outstretched arm. He grabs Sunwoo by the collar, but she stays calm, telling him she could end his life with a medical diagnosis and by using her social status. As that sinks in, she pushes him off her. In the quiet of Sunwoo's office, she stitches up Hyunseo. Hyunseo explains that her boyfriend is not a bad guy. He just takes his anger out on her sometimes, but she can make him into a good person. Sunwoo gently tells her people do not change easily and that she could end up dying next time he goes into a rage. Crying, Hyunseo says it is because she loves him. Their next stop is a hotel, where Sunwoo has grabbed a room for Hyunseo. She is done surviving. She is starting to decide. The next day, Dakyung walks into Sunwoo's clinic and books an appointment. The woman who has been sleeping with Sunwoo's husband, who knows exactly whose wife Sunwoo is, chooses to make her the doctor she sees. The appointment unfolds in a small, sterile room with both women performing their roles with extraordinary precision. Dakyung mentions, almost casually, that she is seeing a married man. She knows what she is doing when she says it. She says openly that her boyfriend knows he is married and is unhappy in his marriage. Sunwoo holds her expression perfectly still. The urine test comes back positive. Dakyung looks shocked. But that evening, she goes home and throws out a positive pregnancy test she had already taken. She knew before she walked into that clinic. Whatever brought her to Sunwoo's office, it was not information about the pregnancy. It was something she needed to see for herself. The woman, up close, knowing. Dakyung rushes to Myung-suk and begs for an abortion and for secrecy. Sunwoo blocks it, citing hospital policy. She will not make this easy. Later, she sends a message to Myung-suk. Tell Tayo about the pregnancy. Tayo receives the news. He gets a call from Dakyung, who breaks things off, and without even the dignity of a convincing lie, he runs out of the house. Sunwoo watches him go. She knew he would run, but knowing that does not make it easier to watch. There is something uniquely devastating about watching someone choose someone else in real time. If that were you, standing in that room with your son upstairs, your husband running to his pregnant mistress, and the knowledge that almost everyone around you had been covering for him for months, what would you do? Her divorce attorney tells her the truth she did not want to hear. She needs evidence. Hard, documented, court-ready evidence, or she risks losing her assets and the thing that makes her run cold. She could lose custody of her son. The courts do not run on sympathy. Being wronged is not enough. So she stays. She continues to live with Tayo. She continues to have breakfast with him and ask about his day and say goodnight, like a woman who believes everything is fine. Every morning she performs the role of wife, and every evening she comes home to a man she now sees clearly, and she holds all of that knowledge inside herself like a weight she cannot set down. During this period, she also uncovers the financial wreckage Tayo has been quietly building behind her back. Mortgage loans, a premium loan taken from their son's life insurance policy. Hidden debts running into the millions. He had drained their accounts, yet still somehow had time and money to cheat. Meanwhile, the pressures compound. Tayo's mother passes away, and on the night of the funeral, Sunwoo, wanting to comfort him, finds him outside the venue. He is in Da Kyung's car. He is kissing her. To the exact song he played the night he proposed to Sunwoo. The same song. This was not carelessness. He took the most intimate thing between them and gave it to someone else. Jae-hyuk finds Sunwoo at one of her lowest points and exploits it. He has wanted her for years. Now she is isolated and under impossible pressure. Sunwoo, needing access to Taeyo's financial accounts that Jae-hyuk can see as the company's accountant, makes a calculated decision and sleeps with him. And when the moment is right, she deliberately sets Jae-hyuk up so that Yerim catches him. Jae-hyuk tries to blackmail her, hoping she can sleep with him a second time. Then comes the dinner. She brings Taeyo, unannounced, to Chairman Yeo's estate. She sits at the table. She looks at all of them. Taeyo, Da Kyung's parents, the man whose investment is the last thing keeping Taeyo's company alive. And she tells Chairman Yeo that his investment in Taeyo is a mistake. She informs Da Kyung's parents that their daughter is pregnant, and then she tells the table who the father is. In one dinner, she strips away the money, the family backing, and the respectability all at once. Byung-gyu withdraws his investment on the spot. Taeyo's company, already drowning, is finished. Taeyo follows her outside and reveals exactly who he is. He is not even sorry. He is furious at her for causing damage and says that she has ruined things and that she is the problem here. He tells her it is not a crime to fall in love, as though that were the point, as though that answered anything at all. She tells him about sleeping with Jae-hyuk. She is trying, genuinely and visibly, to make him feel even a fraction of what she has been living through. She wants him to crack open and understand. He does not understand. He gets louder. Sunwoo sends his bags to Da Kyung's address and files for divorce. What follows is relentless. Taeyo contests the divorce and fights for custody of Jun-young. He hires In-kyu, Hyun-seo's dangerous ex-boyfriend who had recently been released from prison, to physically assault Sunwoo and frighten her into leaving Gosan. When she confronts Taeyo, he does not deny it. He tells her to leave. The town that is her home, that she never left, that he chose to return to. He tells her to go. And then both of them do something that cannot be taken back. Sunwoo, terrified of losing Jun-young, drives with her son to the seashore. A heated confrontation causes Jun-young to slip near the water's edge. Later, Sunwoo allows Taeyo to believe their son is dead. She uses her child, her reason for all of this, as a threat. Jun-young is alive. But Taeyo, in the violence of that confrontation, strangles Sunwoo. He slams her into the sharp edge of a television. She bleeds. Yerim arrives and calls paramedics. He strangled his wife. He made her bleed. This is who he truly is. 2 years of distance and he still has not let her go. He never planned to. Sunwoo recovers. The divorce is declared official. She gets sole custody of Jun-young. Taeyo receives a 2-year restraining order from his son. 2 years pass. Life settles into something that resembles normal. Sunwoo is still practicing medicine. Jun-young is still fragile but present. The town carries on. She allows herself, cautiously, to breathe. Then Taeyo and Da Kyung, now married with a daughter named Jenny, move back to Gosan. They arrive without shame. They host a combined housewarming and wedding reception because success and money are their own kind of absolution in places like this. Taeyo has reinvented himself. His film is a national hit. He is warm and charming and the room wants to be near him. Da Kyung is polished and composed. They look exactly like the life Sunwoo used to have. And Sunwoo is expected to simply coexist with this? Her son Jun-young, despite his mother's objections, goes to the party. The pull of his father is real and complicated and not entirely something Sunwoo can control. She storms in uninvited. She discovers that Taeyo's return to Gosan is not coincidental. He has been orchestrating a campaign to remove her from her position at the hospital, offering a large donation under the condition that a different associate director is installed. He is trying to take her career. She finds one person who seems to genuinely be on her side. A psychiatrist named Yoon-gi who has been quietly helping Jun-young process the damage of the last few years. He is perceptive and steady and kind. Then she discovers he has been reporting information about her to Chairman Yeo, who has been using it to plan her removal from the hospital, who tells her directly that no one in Gosan will take her side. Even the one person who seemed safe was positioned against her. There is a particular loneliness in being isolated by design rather than by accident. Then Inkyu, the abusive boyfriend, turns up dead. He has fallen from a roof and is very dead. Sunwoo is considered a suspect, especially since Inkyu was clutching her scarf when he plummeted. Junyoung, already at his breaking point, gets bullied about it at school. Hyunseo is terrified she will be framed for the murder. Tae-oh comes home with a blood-stained shirt and a parking receipt with an incriminating timestamp, and Hyunseo is an eyewitness that he was there, searching for In-kyu with the devil in his eyes. Chairman Yo quietly secures the CCTV footage that would theoretically prove Tae-oh is the murderer, all for the sake of his daughter and granddaughter. But it is Sunwoo who comes to Tae-oh's rescue. She thinks he is innocent and is willing to do what it takes to prevent her son's father from becoming a murderer. She lies to the police and fabricates an alibi for Tae-oh. The outcome of the investigation: In-kyu committed suicide. Hyunseo urges Sunwoo to break free from Tae-oh. And then Junyoung does the unthinkable. He packs a bag. He moves in with his father and Dak-young. It happens for more than one reason. Dak-young plants something poisonous in his ear, that his mother would have an easier time without him. And Junyoung, who has been watching his parents use each other as weapons for years, who has begun stealing compulsively, is desperate enough to believe that removing himself is the kindest thing he can do. And then, while living at his father's house, he overhears Dak-young reveal the details of what Sunwoo did to secure his custody. What she was willing to do and what she actually did. Junyoung does not yet understand that a person can love you completely and still make choices that were not entirely clean. Sunwoo has fought for her son since the very beginning, the thing she held on to when everything else was taken. And now, the people who took everything else have taken him too. She kept her son out of the fire for years. The fire found him anyway. This leaves Sunwoo devastated and considering leaving town, which frightens Tae-oh and forces him to confront his true feelings. He visits Sunwoo at her home, accusing her of still having feelings for him. He claims their current cycle of hatred is actually a sign that they are not over each other. Amidst their mutual resentment and the pressure of their failing current lives, the two share a passionate and unexpected moment that leads to them spending the night together. Tragically, they are unaware that their son, Junyoung, sees them kissing, which deeply scars him and further complicates their family dynamic. Sunwoo resigns from the hospital. She loses her position. She checks into a hotel by the sea and becomes unreachable for days. Nobody can find her. The funny thing, though, is that while Tae-oh now has everything he was plotting for, the man is still so unhappy. The more things even out for him, the less he is interested. He is consumed with thoughts of Sunwoo. Both Yoongi and Tae-oh drive the coastline searching, which tells you everything you need to know about how tangled and unresolved all of this still is. Sunwoo walks. She walks along the shore. In winter, and then she takes off her coat, and she walks into the water. She has been carrying the weight of everyone's lies, every compromise she made in the name of survival, and now she is done. Her mother walked toward water once too. Suddenly, Yoongi finds her. He pulls her out. He holds her while she cries. Tae-oh stands at a distance. He drove here to find her. He stands there, long enough to confirm she is breathing and then disappears before she can see him. What do you call what Tae-oh feels for Sunwoo at this point? It is obsession, wearing love's face, the madness of a man who could not value what he had while he had it, who cannot release what he has ruined, who keeps circling the wreckage and calling it devotion. He does not want to be with her, in any healthy sense. He simply cannot bear for her to exist without reference to him. But then, things begin to unravel on Tae-oh's end. Dak-young's performance as the devoted second wife collapses. She accuses Junyoung of hurting their daughter Jenny while they are playing. Tae-oh intervenes, and rather than mediate, he slaps his own son. Junyoung calls his mother, sobbing. He asks her to come get him. She comes. And then Sunwoo tells Dak-young, directly and calmly, looking her in the eyes, that she slept with Tai-o. She is not confessing. She is opening a door she knows cannot be closed again. Sunwoo meets with Chairman Yo and makes her case. Dokyoung's life is being slowly strangled by this marriage. The chairman, who has been protective of his daughter from the start and who has always known, on some level, what Tae-o is, begins releasing the resources and evidence he has been quietly holding. Dokyoung finally opens her eyes all the way. Sunwoo tells her the truth. She has been circling for 2 years. The same bedroom arrangement, the same lingerie, the same perfume, the same proposal song. Tai-o did not build a new life with Dokyoung. He reconstructed the old one and cast her in the lead role. She was never a choice he made freely. She was a replacement that could never fully take because the original kept existing. The takedown is swift and deeply satisfying. Taeo's credit cards declined. His office cleared out. Dokyoung loading Jenny into a car, leaving Go-san. As suddenly as they arrived, without ceremony, without a backward glance, finally, Sunwoo and Junyoung are living. Something that almost resembles peace. He has decided to stay in his school. He is slowly and carefully beginning to push his father out of his mind and his life. The women of Gosan tread carefully around Sunwoo now. They know who drove Chairman Yo's family out of town. Then Tae-o is spotted in Gosan again. Sunwoo receives a torn-up photograph in the mail. Tae-o and Junyoung ripped apart and retaped together. The act of someone who needs you to know they are thinking about you. She comes home one day to find Junyoung missing. There is a note. When she calls Tae-o, he admits he has Junyoung. He says he would go out of his mind if he could not see his son. Sunwoo agrees to a dinner, the three of them together, so that Tae-o can say a proper goodbye to his son one last time. Tae-o uses the dinner to beg Sunwoo to take him back, to start over, to try again. As a family, he says this, like someone who has learned, apparently, almost nothing. Sunwoo tells him to get his life together, to say goodbye to his son properly. They leave the restaurant together, the three of them, and then Tae-o steps into the road. A truck comes, it stops, just short of him, and Sunwoo goes to him. She holds him, the person she loved, from the very bottom of herself, and resented, with every cell in her body, her foe and her comrade, her best friend and her greatest opponent. She was entirely destroyed by this person, and standing in the cold of a winter road, holding him, while he shakes, she still feels something. But Junyoung sees his mother go to Tae-o in that moment. He is disappointed, and he runs away. He does not come back for a year. This is the price. A year of not knowing where her son is. The way she used Junyoung as a threat at the cliff. The way she made him live inside a war that was never his to fight. The way she was the victim first, and then, at certain moments, also someone who caused harm. Being wronged first does not grant immunity for what comes after. A year passes. One afternoon, the doorbell rings. He came home. A year after everything ends. The world has reorganized itself. Tae-o, who lost everything, has started again. A new production house. A smaller life. Yerim and Jaehyuk have finally and properly split. Yerim is thriving, running her own restaurant, finally living a life that is only hers. Dokyoung is serious about her art, but still cannot bring herself to trust another man. The cost of that particular lesson tends to last a long time. And Sunwoo stands in her house, in the afternoon light, with her son home. A betrayal, obsession, and the cost of winning a war. You never wanted to fight. That is what this story is really about. And that was The World of the Married, a story about the devastating price of truth, the wreckage left by those who refuse to let go, and the silence that followed the storm. Did it shock you as much as it shocked us? Subscribe for more cinematic drama recaps, and I'll see you in the next one.